All right. Today we are going to look at Google Add-Ons and a little bit about Google Add-Ons. If you've never used them, we'll just get right into it. Oh, maybe. So actually, before we go, we're going to go over what they are, why we're going to use them, a few add-ons that I use myself, as well as just useful tools for small businesses, and then how to explore and find add-ons that may work for you. So, what are add-ons? If you have ever used Excel, you may be familiar with, they also have add-ons as well, but they are typically user-made, which means that individuals or companies go out and make these. The add-ons are not made by Google themselves in this instance, or at least most of them are not. So people find a need and they create a tool to automate it. They are scripts, or some people would refer to them as code. Basically what that means is they do tasks that you could do manually, but it does it for you. It's not doing anything crazy complex, but they're doing stuff for you. Add-ons can access online tools, so that's part of what they do. Or at least in Google anyway, they will go and fetch information for you from somewhere else on the internet and bring it back to you. They can also access your Google data. So it can always access the current document that you're using it in, but sometimes you may have to give it permission to access other parts of your Google information, so other files or drives or even sometimes your email. It just depends on what it's doing and what its purpose is. So that is what add-ons are. It is also important to note that if you're ever going to use add-ons, and we'll get to this further down the line, but when you are installing them, if you get them from the Google Marketplace, they won't be malicious because Google checks them first and verifies and makes sure everything's okay. However, it is possible to get add-ons from other sites, and those may be malicious. So it's always important to know who you are getting these add-ons from and to make sure you trust these sources. All right, so why would we use add-ons? Let's see if I can get to move here. Maybe. All right, so why we'll use the add-ons? Pretty straightforward here. We use them because they can help us do more. Ultimately, Google, their suite of Office products, if you will, like their Word documents, spreadsheets, their presentation, it's a lot more limited than, say, using Microsoft Office suites, which has been being developed for over 20 years or 30 years. I don't actually know how long it's been around, but a very long time. So it has a lot. Microsoft has a lot that just built in. It does a lot, super powerful, and it can draw from your computer's power. Whereas Google is all online, and so its capabilities are a lot more streamlined and stripped down. It just doesn't have a lot of built-in capabilities, but it does have the ability to expand. And again, that's where add-ons come in. So it increases what Google Docs can do. It also ultimately helps you work faster and more efficient. In some cases, it's just for fun. There are add-ons that are just silly, and or for creative, maybe it can help you spark creativity, help you with music annotation or whatever. Just they can help do fun things or things for your past. I mean, it just depends on what it is, again, and what you're hoping for. All right, so the what and the why is pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So we are just going to dive into the add-ons because this is where our time. This is what we care about. How's this going to help me? How is this going to help my business? And we're going to look at some of those things. And you'll see the add-ons are available for a lot of, or the main Google applications that small businesses use. So it's available for Google Sheets. They're available for Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Forms. They're actually available for a few other products which we're not covering here. But add-ons can be created for a lot of basic Google documents and applications. So we're going to look at Google Sheets first, and I have a couple here that I have used and enjoy using that may help your business as well. Keeping in mind that this list here that I've put together, this is very small list. There are thousands of add-ons that you can get that do any number of things. These are just kind of to give you an idea as well of what you can accomplish. All right, so Google Sheets. First thing here is we're gonna do template filling. So in small businesses, something we need to do a lot is get information from our clients and customers, do something with that information, and then update that customer or client. And it's a pretty common occurrence. So one of my all-time favorite add-ons that we have and that I use on a regular basis is called Autocrat. And I'll spell that out for you. It's AUTOCRAT, Autocrat. And what it does is it allows you to automatically fill templated documents. So I'll give you a quick example. I'll show you we have some sample information here. And so first name, last name, phone, emails, just basic customer client information that you would typically take in. And we want to, if let's say they fill out a form, we want to send them a letter saying, hey, thanks for signing up. Thanks for filling our form, whatever it is. So here is our template document. Right now it just says, hello, first name, last name. And you'll see in brackets here, these match our titles up here. And we can make it say whatever. We'll say, thank you, first name, last name, for signing up. Our records show that your email address is email. Again, that just matches our heading right up here. And I'm not going to go into how to set up Autocrat. That's outside our scope of what we're doing today. I'm just going to show you the basic functionality of what you can accomplish here. So we'll test this out. We're going to go to up at the top menu bar, Add-Ons. And I've already installed these add-ons. We'll look at a little bit later how to install them. But we'll go to Add-Ons. If it's already installed, hover over it. I'm going to open it up. And you have to give them just a minute to load. Like I said, we'll look in a little bit, we'll look at how to install these. Just kind of give you a quick example of this one. So here we go, it's opened up, and I've already set up a job. Again, we're not going over how to use all these add-ons because there's a lot of add-ons to go over today. If you have any specific questions, you can email me at contact@efficientsmallbusiness, or if you are in this meeting today, you can ask me questions afterwards and we can go over some of that. All right, so I'm going to run that job, and you're going to be able to, it'll actually give you a notification here saying it started. It's going to let you know you have one row to merge because only one thing has been done. You can watch it happen up here, and it will, what it's doing is it's creating a new document for us, putting it into a folder, and then creating that for us. Now, things about this is I just manually ran this. However, it can be set up to run automatically when a form is submitted, or hourly or daily. And then it can also send an email for you. In this case, it is just creating the document for me because I don't want it to do anything else. So I can go ahead and click on this link that it created. Oh, and it didn't like our email there because we didn't set it up properly. I just threw it in there. So it says, thank you, Adam Anderson, which lines up with our row here. Our show your email is this. And you know what? Let's give you a quick look at this, and I'll show you what's going on there. Because we have a little bit of time here. So we'll go in, and you can see the user interface is very simple, very straightforward, and that's the case with almost all add-ons, as they make it as easy as possible to use. And we just need to make sure this matches that. Fantastic. We're just missing some spaces. All right. Let's give that a try again. Make sure it recognizes it and sees it. And it looks like we are good. Okay. Keep backing out of it. Force of habit. That's what I was looking for. All right, and I'm not going to mess with this too much, but you can see the basic functionality and how it could easily be applied to a wide variety of business solutions, and without having to learn any coding or scripting yourself. And that's the beautiful part about add-ons, is someone else has done the heavy lifting for you, and you simply need to plug and play. So there we go. Let's see if that one actually worked. Sure did. All right, there you go. So that took our template document, and you can write anything in here. That's the other great thing about template documents, is you can add images, you can put your company header on the top, make it say whatever you want, and whenever you receive new form entries or once per day, it'll go through, and if one of these hasn't been done, if you have a new row of information, it will go through and send that off to your customer or client. And it can look really professional and just streamlined and easy to use. All right, so the next one we have on our list, we have analytics, which is really what spreadsheets are best for. They're great for running numbers. What Google add-ons are able to do very easily is go out to other websites or even other Google services, get that information and pull it back in. So one example we have here, Google Analytics is one of the add-ons. And I've already created a new report, which you can look over here. Basically, it's really simple. Just grab the, user data for the last 30 days. And just session data, just how many sessions have been run in the last 30 days. So that's pretty simple. You get set up, just follow through the process, hit create new report, and then for this, we'll just hit run report. It is going to allow us to do that. And now it will show us 70 sessions in the last 30 days, which is not much, but whatever. I can actually show you quickly how to create a new report. Let's actually look at that. So creating a new report is pretty straightforward. You do need to understand Google Analytics a little bit because you have to be able to fill in all of this. So I can create my new, call this test report 2, create the account. In this case, I'm already logged in as Official Small Business. Which property? I have 2. I have a blog and a home page. And then you can click all website data, pick which metrics you want. So in this case, we'll just hit sessions again. The dimensions. So the metrics are the actual numbers associated with it. Again, we're not going into how Google Analytics works for this video, but the metrics are the numbers. What can be added, what can be averaged, all of that. The dimensions are what do you want to know the numbers in relationship to. So we want to look at the number of sessions for, let's see here, actually user type. Why not? Click create report, and if you don't fill it out properly, it won't let you run it. So that's something to take into consideration. All right, we've configured our test report 2. And you can also schedule these reports to run automatically, which again is another nice feature of a lot of Google add-ons, is they can run when you're not around. That's something that really sets Google apart from Microsoft products. In general, is they can run when you, without having the program opened, they're essentially always open, so they can run at any time. All right, so it ran both of those reports, and we can look at our test report 2, so 77 sessions. 8 returning visitors, and you can really easily look at this without having to go to your Google Analytics page. You can just pull it right in here and look at the numbers within your spreadsheet. All right, so there are actually a lot, as you can see when I pull my add-ons, there's a lot more add-ons here. Again, we're not going to go over all of them today because there are just so many, and they do so many different things. In fact, there's a lot that do basically the exact same thing. For example, I have the Google Analytics, but I also have the Supermetrics here, which this one is significantly more complicated, but it also has something else to keep in mind. Some add-ons require purchases, either to purchase it itself or in-app purchases. So with Supermetrics, for example, this is an add-on that you need to purchase to use the most functionality. It'll let you run Google Analytics reports for free, but anything else here you can run from a plethora of different sites. So for example, you can pull in the data from your Google My Business account, from Instagram, LinkedIn, MailChimp, Facebook, Salesforce, Twitter, YouTube even. So you can get reports from a lot of different companies. So again, this particular add-on requires that you purchase their product, but it is very useful because then you can get all the information into one place automatically, so you're not having to print off reports and pull them in. And Supermetrics is not one I've really used, so we're not going to go over that one today. But you know it exists, so it's a good resource. Remember Supermetrics there. All right, so moving on, docs. I find that most word processors lack a lot because, I mean, they're really just for writing. However, you usually need, it's nice to have help. It's nice to have tools that are right there when you are writing. So the first one we're going to look at is an SEO writing tool. And this one is called GDoc SEO Assistant. You'll also notice I have an SEO content writing assistant. Again, there's a lot of add-ons that do very similar, if not the same thing. I particularly like the GDoc SEO Assistant, so we're going to open that up. It wants a keyword, and I have templates, or not template, I have an article here that I pulled from online. I did not write it myself. So we're going to run that. And the reason why I really like this add-on specifically is, first off, it helps if you're doing SEO writing, or if you're a small business, you're not necessarily paying someone to write for you. It's good to know just basic rules and tips to follow along. And so this analyzes your writing and says, okay, your score is low. You can, one, it's not long enough. Your keyword needs to be in your title. You need your keywords in the last 100 words, so on and so forth. Just different things to make your writing stand out on the internet so search engines can find you easier. And it optimizes that. In addition to that, it gives us a chart here and shows you the trend of your specific keywords. So it can tell you if book, for example, well, this is a really popular keyword. It's going to be a little harder to get into. So you have to, keep that in mind as you're doing it. And then we'll give you related keywords that maybe you could use as well. So it's an incredibly useful tool to have at your disposal. And it'll also tell you what you're doing good. So you get down to the green and say, your semantic, whatever they call this thing is excellent, your keywords in the first 100 words, so you get a couple of things right, and it will help teach you as you go along. So that's a great SEO writing tool for your small business. The next one is, a lot of people don't realize, but Google Docs has a lot more fonts than you see up front. There's a couple, you can actually come here and hit more fonts if you've never noticed this before. If you click on this, you can go through and then swap out your fonts, X these out. But if you add all of these to your list, your regular list of fonts just becomes overwhelming, and adding and removing fonts is just cumbersome. So there's an add-on which I really like, which is Extensis Fonts, EXTENSIS fonts. And it essentially gives you all those fonts. Instead of having to open up this bar that covers up all your working, you can just come over here and select your fonts. So you can do this, and it makes everything available to you instantly, instead of having to go through and add it manually to this list. And you can also see it in larger fonts, so it's kind of nice to have this. You also have a different sort, so you can show by, you want to see handwriting fonts. If you want to see monospace, serif, sans serif, alphabetical, popularity, what do people, what are the most popular fonts? And you can just easily go through this, change the size as well, just in case you want to see them larger. Get a better feel for it, or if you just have a hard time seeing them. Anyway, that is an incredibly useful tool when you do a lot of writing, and especially if you are writing documents that your clients or customers are going to see and you want to make them interesting. I always recommend don't use more than 2 fonts per document. Don't go crazy, and don't use Comic Sans. I guess don't use Comic Sans is rule number 1, but now you know it if you didn't know it before. All right. So our next one is bibliography. All right, so if you do, this one is probably not going to be as useful in most business cases unless you are writing a lot of reports and you need to cite your sources. But it is still very nice to have in your back pocket if you have to create a proposal for someone and you just want to make sure that you're one of those people like, hey, I want to make sure my sources are cited properly. You can type in, so we open it up here, and this one is called Easy Bibliography Creator. It's a mouthful. And you can search by book, and you can search by website as well, or journal article, just depending. And it will go out, find the information for you, and automatically insert it into your document. So let's say we need a book. Do the Count of Monte Cristo. Why not? Hit search, and it's going to go do its thing. And now you get some options here. You have different publishing dates, as well as just different stuff here. Find the one that matches what you're using. Hit select. And there you go. You can just add bibliography to your document. However, let's say you usually have more than one source to cite. So I have the link to this particular article that I just showed you, put the website in there, and it will transform your URL into a usable citation. So we have a couple of these. We'll just hit add bibliography to doc, and down at the bottom, here we go, works cited and properly formatted with all the right information, and you didn't have to do any of it, which is fantastic. All right, the last one is really just kind of show you that there's stuff for fun or creative ideas out there. And This one is called Word Cloud Generator, and it does exactly what it says. Is it creates a word cloud. You can see this example right here. So if you go ahead and, oh, actually it already did it. So it looks at your whole document, and whichever words appear the most often, it puts them in priority. It just says, hey, this word shows up the most, so it's the biggest. Here's the second most, and so on and so forth. So this you can download. You can just add it to your document very easily. And there you go. Cool. You have this cool little word cloud to throw into your presentation, just to, liven things up. One more thing, and I don't think I put it in this list, so we're going to go off script for half a second here. We have it for our slides, but adding images. And we will actually, I'm going to come back to this because I do want to show you how to search and install different add-ons. So we'll come back to that in a minute, but adding images to your doc can be very, very easy. Moving on though is our slides. As you can see here, let's do icons first. So one thing that I get the most use out of, the add-on that is easily my favorite here, is insert icons for slides. Is when I'm doing presentations, I like to liven things up with an icon, just arrows or whatever. I mean, you can throw the Apple icon in here if you want to. Just different things to make your presentation stand out and to draw attention to certain points that you may be talking about. So for this particular talk, maybe we'd use a Google icon, and we can change the color. Why not? You click on it, and it adds the icon to there. You can also search by name, and let's say we put add here, or person. Maybe you want to add an icon of a person. You also have a couple options here. You have font awesome and material design. So you will get different options depending on which one you're looking at. So you can search by what it is. You can just scroll through, and you have a lot of fun little icons that you can just add to draw attention to your presentation. Then the next add-on we have is adding images. Because it's a presentation, you want images. And you can go to your favorite image site, download it, and re-upload it to your presentation, or you can get the add-on for it. In this case, we're using Unsplash, which is a free image website. They've created an add-on for us, and I basically have access to all their images now. You can search, let's search by name, or just scroll through. Let's say we want office, and you can just click, and it adds that image to your presentation. So really easy, really straightforward, and you can skip the going to the website, downloading it, uploading it, and it saves a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of effort when you are creating presentations. So these two are probably my most used add-ons out of anything, is icons and getting images directly into my presentations. All right. Then the last one here is for forms. And if you use forms a lot, that has a lot of limitations, a lot of frustrations, especially depending on how you use them. But one thing that I have run into a lot is when you have a list of things, and maybe you need your list to change on a regular basis. And this is okay to go in here, manually update it. But what's even better is if you can have this list attached to a spreadsheet. So you just add the list, and let's say wherever your form responses are, you can have this list change. And you can even have it change dynamically based on the responses you get from the users who fill it out. So if they were to select, maybe you put in option here, oh, this is one, add other option. Maybe you have an option here for them to add different colors. They could type in purple, for example, and then the next time that someone else comes here to fill it out, purple is now a new option. And one of the add-on that helps us do that is called Form Ranger. And again, there's actually a lot of add-ons for forms because you want forms to do a lot of different things. That is just not built in because Google Forms is very limited in what it can do, but we can get around that. So I've already set up the Form Ranger here. And I can, actually, I'll show you how to do that real quick because we're still good on time. But how we do that, let's duplicate this. We'll call this, pick a number. Now, so colors, we want, let's pick a number. Great. Now, I think I may need to close this and reopen it, but let's find out. Nope, okay. All right, so now we have our new question here. Pick a number. And we want to populate from range. And over here, I already have a list. So this is where our colors are coming from. So let's add purple to this. Again, this is a manual example. There's a lot of other applications, a lot of other ways that this can be implemented. But again, I'm just showing you the basic manual application of this just to kind of give you a proof of concept and what this looks like and how this actually applies. So let's go ahead and say 1, 2, 3, 4. And I already put numbers in there. I didn't need to. Let's skip a few. Fantastic. Come back over here. We are going to populate from range. We're going to create a new range. We need to select our spreadsheet, which is Sheets Add-On, which is this one right here. Get the tab that we need and pick which column. And you'll notice I gave each one its own column header. So this one says list, this one says number. It knows where to look. It says, okay, if it's this column right here. We're gonna click next and we're gonna give it a name. We're just gonna call it numbers. This name doesn't matter at all, just for your own reference. Save and populate questions. And then you'll notice those numbers, which I did not enter, are now here. And as we can set this, you'll see this down here, we can set this to update when a new form entry is received or just every hour. So every hour it goes through and just to check if a new entry is in here. So if I were to come here, we could set it up in an hour to just check for that. In this case, I can just hit update questions manually and it will add that to 20 here and you can see it happen right away. So that is easily probably the best forms add-on that I'm aware of, but there are a lot more. So that gets us into the last part of our presentation here is we're exploring. How do we find them? How do we add them? How do we do all of this stuff? So we go to menu, add-ons, get add-ons. Really simple. What does that look like? Well, forms is actually a little different. We'll go over that. But if you're in Google Docs or Google Sheets or Google Slides, you'll go to menu, add-ons, get add-ons. And this is where we can explore and find add-ons for the specific application that we are in. In this example, and I wonder if we can go outside of that, but yes, we can. So if you are in here, it's just going to show me the applications that work with slides. And you can see that right here. So, excuse me. All of these add-ons immediately work with slides. I can click on one. And let's actually go back to our document here and let's get an add-on. And I actually could have added it from here. Could go here, go to the bottom, select works with docs. And now I can, oh, it probably won't let me because I'm in slides. So you do need to be in the correct application already. So let's look up image, see what that gets us. All right, so it has Pixabay on here instead of, what do we have over here, Unsplash. And you'll notice I can just click on it. You can click anywhere here, and you'll have the option to click on install, and you can see this works. It's a Docs add-on. And if you want to know more about it, maybe you just are searching for something and you're not sure what it does. You're like, what does auto latex equations do? Click on it. You can look at the overview, and this will explain it does all of this stuff here. You can check out reviews, and hey, do people like this? I mean, this one has almost 5 stars, 4.3. That's pretty great. And then you go ahead and click on install. So we're going to go back to our Pixabay here, click install, and it's always going to tell you this needs permission in order to run, because if you remember at the beginning, the add-ons require permission, and they require permission to access either your specific document or sometimes other documents. In this case, and it will tell us every time. So we hit continue. We pick the account that we want to add this to, and I only have one account here. So I'll select that, and it's going to tell you what this has access to and what it does. So in this case, it's accessing your Google Docs, which obviously, because we want to add images to our Google document, it's connecting to an external service. In this case, we know that's Pixabay because that's its own website. It's going to go there, get the images, and bring them back in. It's going to view and manage data associated with your application. I'm going to tell you exactly why. This won't actually tell you what they're using it for. They'll give you more specifics on this. Display and run third-party web content and prompts and sidebars. This is just saying it opens the sidebar in your document. So you're allowing it, you're giving access to all these things. And Google does take security very seriously, and it wants you to understand what all of these things do. So go ahead and click allow, or you can cancel if you want to. It'll load, and it will then give you a prompt that the new add-on has been added. And it'll even tell you where to find it. So we can click that. In some cases, you may need to refresh your browser. I've run into that a few times, but we click add-ons, and here it is, Pixabay free images. Click on search images, and let's do Office for this one again. See what happens. Cool. As you can see, you have all of these options available to you. Again, just right inside your document, and we can go ahead and click. And there you go. You now have an image inside your document, all with the power of add-ons. And without having to script or code or go to another website to look for things, it is a really, really wonderful tool that I highly recommend. So I really do recommend go to add-ons and go to any given, go to whichever application you use, or would kind of like to see, what's possible. Hit add-ons, get add-ons, and just search. You can just scroll through and find nearly anything. It just that there's an app for that. Well, there's an add-on for that too. This one will create forms for you. It looks like aggregate your analytics. That's cool. There's a lot of mail merges out there. I showed you the Autocrat one, which is technically a mail merge. Some of them do it on a larger scale. So if you're sending a lot of emails, it'll do these for you. There's also a lot of stuff for schools, which probably won't apply to most people here, but a lot of testing and grading add-ons that make that a lot easier. Maybe you give your clients quizzes that they need to follow if you're a consultant, who knows. Anyway, just explore, find what works for you, and find something new that may be able to help you work faster, more efficient, or just fun little tools that will help you out. So that is the end of my presentation today. I hope that you found it useful and immediately applicable to your life. Again, there's someone here that I really highly recommend. Autocrat being one for Google Sheets. On slides, your unsplash images and insert icons, Google Docs, also the images actually, but you have your SEO assistant is wonderful. The Extensis fonts. And actually, I didn't go over this one. There's a change case one here, which it's pretty cool. If you're writing yourself, you may run into things like this, and it'll automatically change the case, make it lowercase, uppercase, just some simple things. And then Form Ranger on your Google Forms. So remember those, use them, put them into your workflow. They are fantastic tools that make things easier. All right, and with that, I am going to leave you, but I hope that you find something to make your work easier and faster. So thank you and have a wonderful day.